Good afternoon or good evening, actually, by this time. I wanted to come back on here and go through the commentary on the Real Housewives of New Jersey that aired this week. Today is April the 30th, and it aired this past Wednesday. So I want to kind of back up to last week's episode because it showed Dolores in the closet talking to her son about her mammogram. She had had a mammogram and she needed to go back in. So I know that if you have a mammogram and the physician or the diagnostic people call you back in, generally that second visit is for an ultrasound. So to just see if there's any reason for there to be any concern. So she's in the closet talking to her son about going back in, and you can just kind of see the look on her son's face. He's sitting there. He looks to me, and he might not be thinking this, but to me he looks like he's saying, okay, is this real or is this just for the show? You know? And also, Dolores gives a lot to the breast cancer society there in New Jersey and to breast cancer awareness. That is why she recently won an award this season for it. So for her to do the work in that area and not have had a breast mammogram in 5 years, this is what I say to this. If you are involved in an organization that you're lifting up or that you're volunteering or that you're donating to or, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you're walking the walk. Because for her to not have had a mammogram in 5 years, it just kind of looked like it was not genuine to me, initially anyway. It may be genuine now, but for her not to have had that in 5 years, it looks like it might be something she was looking for just to have a presence on the show. And I'm just saying, okay? So the scene starts with the camera, this show anyway, the scene starts with the camera panning out to show us a beautiful view of Jennifer's house. And it's gorgeous. I love her house. Outside, it's beautiful. On the inside, I like the furniture that she chose to go inside. So inside, what they're doing is finishing up the mother-daughter event that Jennifer planned specifically for her mother. And I just want to go ahead and say, and I'm going to be looking down because I have my notes down. Sometimes I have them on the screen and I'm looking at them. And because I don't really like to look down, I majored in communications and journalism, so it's just ingrained in me not to look down when I'm talking. However, I haven't done it in a while, so I look down. So, at any rate, Josephine is Jennifer's mother, and I think that it would really benefit their relationship if Jennifer really impressed upon her mother therapy. Her mother really needs therapy because she's very angry. She seems to want friends and to want to have a relationship. She even seems to want the attention of her husband because she keeps saying, well, he is my husband, we're married, and she's very caught up in that tradition. And at the same time, I think she wants his attention. I think that he wants to give it to her, but she's hard to reach. Her anger is so deep. And I really think it is so important for her to get that worked out. And I just want to say to those of you who are listening to this, well, first of all, please like. Okay, click the like button. Also, please click the notification bell and subscribe to my channel and comment on what you think about my commentary here. I'm planning to be here for a while. I love putting up these videos. I really like doing this. So, just kind of, help a girl out here. But to continue, Jennifer's mother, and I don't know of a better way to put it, and I'm not always good with words, and also I'm direct, so there's that. Jennifer's mother, Josephine, comes across very mean-spirited. She comes across very prideful and not open to things that could possibly help her. And I want to just say to you all who are listening, it is so important as you grow older in your life to forgive people. Even if you have to go backwards and have a conversation with them, do it in a safe place, okay? And just bring some peace to your life. Even if the conversation doesn't end the way you want it to end, try to get something from it from the other person's perspective and balance it out. And make sure that you get out the important points that you want to share with the person in a way that is conducive to your being able to forgive them and to forgive yourself. Sometimes that may not always get to happen. I'm just saying you don't want to get to this point in your life where she is, and she's probably not too far from my age, and you're having all of this discord, and it's because you don't want to let go of tradition and you don't want to open up to a new way of making things better in your life. And so I just wanted to say that. Moving forward, let's see. I want to say this was the most I've ever seen on Jackie's plate. And Jackie's my favorite. Ever since that season she got Teresa told, I thought it was warranted. I didn't want her to apologize, even though she did. That's okay, she apologized. I just would not have. Teresa needed to hear that. The women on this show have got to stop being afraid of Teresa. So Jackie needs to eat, though. Jackie, food is good, you guys. It is okay to eat food. You can eat healthy. It's okay to have a big plate of salad and just chow down on that salad. I love a big old plate of Caesar salad myself. And if you don't want to eat again for a couple of hours and you just want to snack on a banana or apple or something, it's okay to eat. So that concerns me that she's not eating. And but that was the most I've seen on her plate. I didn't get to see a lot of it because the camera kind of zoomed in on it real quickly and moved around the area where the other ladies were. Dolores looked gorgeous. I love her confessionals. She is really bringing it in the looks category this season, honey. She is beautiful. She's just gorgeous. And I like the beaded pink, gold, silver, and sheer top that she's wearing in the confessional. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I would love to have that shirt. I don't know if it's a dress or a shirt or whatever it is, but it looks really good on her. And again, I'm looking down. All of the mothers exhibit really great motherhood. I love the camaraderie, their conversation, how they are encouraging each other. And the thing that really stood out to me is they all have husbands, but they don't live with their husbands, or they live in the house with their husband and the husband sleeps in a separate room. And what's the mother who said, and I'm fine with it. Oh my goodness, that was Jackie's mother, I think. She was like, and I'm fine with it. So that was just interesting to me. That was just real interesting to me. They don't live with their husbands, and Dolores' mother blurted out, she said, look, and sometimes, we get together, we have dinner, and then other times, we don't. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? My grandparents, rest their soul, they're not here either, but I remember hearing them. I spent the night at their house one night, and they were up in age because I just entered college, and I heard them, in the bedroom. So I don't know. It's just weird. So the next thing is I want to say this to women because I was a 34B all of my life up until I got in my 40s. I literally wore a size 6 and I was a 34B. Even after I had my son, when I gave birth to my son, I was at like 150, and then I didn't gain a lot of weight. Um, I was like 150, 155. And then after I had him, because I knew about postpartum, I was pregnant in an era where postpartum had just opened up as conversation for women, and they were introducing ideas about how to get through it. And one of those ideas is you could do pregnant yoga. You could go to yoga classes. So I did yoga classes. And also Jane Fonda had tapes out at that time, these big old cartridge tapes, okay, that I used to put in the recorder, and I would do pregnant exercises. They were, they were not strenuous at all. So I did those. So they recommended those things while you were pregnant in order to bypass the postpartum. They also recommended that after you had the baby, 6 weeks later is okay to begin to walk, get out in the community, walk, get sunshine. And they suggested walking a mile a day, 5 days a week at that time. I did that. And I did that because I didn't want the postpartum issues that people had started to complain about. And exercising, they were saying, really raised the endorphins in your brain and prevented that postpartum feeling from coming on. So I'm saying all that to say that I literally did. I will go ahead and give my age. I'd rather give my age than my weight at this point. But I literally did not start gaining weight until I was about 50. So I'm in my 50s. And so I'm saying all that to say, this is a lot to carry around. My breasts are a lot to carry around because I still can't get used to carrying them. And I try to lose, and I lose, but I lose in my stomach. And the breasts barely go anywhere. And I don't like that. I say that because as I was looking, the cameras panned over to Margaret. And some of us really should not be showing cleavage. It's not attractive. It's not a beautiful thing to look at. And we should cover it up as much as possible. And that's what I agree to in my mind about Margaret. Her boobs are not fantastic to look at, and I'm not saying she should have any surgery or anything like that. I'm just saying she needs to cover those babies up. They're just not attractive to look at. And so moving forward, the next scene, the men are on the golf course, right? And I don't know what's wrong with Joe Gorga, but he always has these crazy ideas, as Melissa called them, this frat boy mentality, about you're grown men. Grown men don't do these things. You can play golf and talk and have a legitimate and pleasing conversation without kissing someone's ASS. Okay? It's disgusting. You don't know if the dude just took a fart or if he just took a poop. You don't know what's going on there, and now your lips are all over there, Frank. And it was your suggestion. So be careful, people, what you suggest for people to do at parties or gatherings, because it is my experience that the one who suggests this thing that everyone should do if they win or lose, that person is generally the person that ends up having to do that thing. I'm just saying, sometimes that happens, okay? So Frank was the one to suggest that. I just thought it was disgusting. I think they try too hard sometimes to get attention with that kind of stuff. I will say this. Jackie's husband is the best looking man since Mauricio and Apollo of the Real Housewives shows. He's the best looking one. It was Apollo, Mauricio, and now it's Evan. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I thought was really good looking. Evan is very good looking, and um, just wanted to say that. I also want to say this because I don't know what he does. I think he's in the financial industry. They don't say it specifically because I guess because of what is the thing? Business policies. Sometimes you have to sign that you won't talk about a company or you won't do these things. Like I've worked with companies where you can't talk about them outside because that's for their public relations people to do or their media personnel to do. So, however, Jackie is an attorney. And I'm just trying to determine, did Evan marry up? Because men know how to, they know how to look on successful women or potentially successful women when they're in college. They know how to find these women just like these women know how to find these men. And so I wonder if he, because Jackie's beautiful. At the same time, I'm wondering if he saw this as, okay, this is a beautiful woman and she's going to be successful, so let me lock onto that. I don't know. Um, in terms of the golf, though, Evan came to play. He came to play. He was knocking them balls. He wasn't there. You can tell he's a serious business-minded kind of person who likes to have fun, too. So next we have the lunch. We have Margaret and her husband, and Melissa and Joe. And I know you guys are going to think I have a problem with Margaret, and maybe I do. Maybe I do. I'm not going to say it. I think we're two different women. Margaret is a different woman than me, and maybe that's the breakdown and why I keep bringing up some of the things that stand out to me that are different from me. For example, she's always bringing up who's banging who. You're a married woman, and we'll see later at the party when she makes some what I call inappropriate comments, But anyway, let's see here. Well, actually, this particular lunch didn't have much going on. Joe and Melissa are joking about, the food, Chicos or Chicanis or whatever it is that they're eating, and they depict one as a man, one as a woman, and all this stuff. And it just kind of made me wonder, is Joe really insecure in his relationship with Melissa? Does he really feel like she would leave him? Or is this just something that they are doing for the show? I just wondered that. And the other thing is Margaret, she seems to really be working her husband in that house. She's just really working the man he looks tired now in the scenes. He used to look vibrant in the scenes. Now he looks like he's been working all day. And so I don't know. She's working him a lot. So let's see what else here. What is the next thing that takes place? So Teresa and Michelle is the real estate agent or the broker who is showing Teresa houses. And this house is very modern. I really like it. Teresa wants to see more houses, of course, because she loved the house. And then when Michelle said it's 2.195, that's 2.195 million, Teresa changed them. She was like, I want to see more houses, So I think she's trying to get a lot more bang for her buck, possibly. It was a beautiful home, though. It was very modernized, and I think that Teresa's wanting something a lot more modern than the place where she lived, and she kind of wants to move on and have a new space, which is understandable. She has a new life right now. One of the things that people have a tendency to say, and it's not just on reality shows, but even in real life, they will say things like, I know my parents are looking down on me. And I hate to break it to you, your parents are not looking down on you guys. And stop saying that. You're telling yourself a lie. You're trying to make yourself believe something that is not true. And I'm not going to sit here and quote scriptures with you, but I will share with you, you can go get a concordance and look up the word dead and death and go through the scriptures on that, and that will tell you what is going on with people when they die. But they are not looking down on you. They're not in heaven. They are either 6 feet under or they are in a mausoleum, and they they're dead. That's where they are until Christ determines whether or not he is going to waken them. And that's true. Okay. So, people are not looking down on you. The other thing is, Michelle says to Teresa, and if you look at my previous video, you'll know I don't do the mediation thing, whatever you call it, the mediator, people who really are not mediators. Christ is my mediator. Okay. But this is what I want to say. Let me back up a little bit. The only people in heaven are God, also known as Yahweh in the Hebrew, Jesus, also known as Yeshua or Jeheshua in the Greek and the Hebrew, and the angels. Okay? So there's no one else there except them. And they really are, if you read your Bible and follow what's happening in the world, they really are preparing to come back. So the other thing is the sorcery. It's not real. Those people are not mediums speaking to dead people. It is the craziest thing to me, I guess, because I know the scriptures, and even in real life, it just seems unrealistic. And people actually go and they pay these people. And I think that this is because they don't want to deal with the reality of the Lord. They don't want to deal with that. That's what I think. They don't want to deal with the reality of the Lord because it means that they have to change their lives. And yes, we do. But you can still have fun and enjoy your life. Worshiping God, he wants you to enjoy your life. But there are things that he requires of us to repent of. And I don't want to make this a sermon, but I had to bring that up because it's in the show. And this is my commentary. And I wanted to share with you that information. So moving on. One of the things we're going to see later on in the dinner is that Teresa becomes upset with Joey for repeating information about her love interest. And I just didn't understand that because Teresa had already told the girls on the yacht about her love interest. So she should have known that they were going to go back and tell their men, and their men, when they get together, would have a conversation about it. So Teresa, you already told them. I digress. I love, again, when the show shows Jennifer's home. It showed it again because her and her husband are preparing to go to the party at Michelle's house. Then they also show Melissa and Joe preparing to go to the party at Michelle's house, and Melissa tells Joe that she, pretty much has forgiven Michelle and that she likes her because whenever she had to confront her about what Michelle said about Joe owing her husband money, she felt like that Michelle handled it appropriately. Next, they also show Frank and Dolores getting ready to go to the party. And again, we have Frank and Dolores going to the party and not Dolores and David. And doctors who are really good doctors, they do work long hours. I understand that. Is there not one event he can go with her to? I think that probably explains why he bought her a card instead of a ring. Anyway, I digress with that as well. No, I'm not going to digress. Because I want to say that in the reunion, when they get ready to have the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, I want Dolores to tell us what is the real reason, what is really going on, because she's always with Frank in those scenes where most people are with their mates. And so, and I'm not saying Frank should not be in the scenes. I just want to see, I want to see Frank on the Real Housewives, but I want to see him with a real love interest, someone he it might be Dolores, in fact, who knows. So they're at the party. They are all talking about what happened on the golf course with Frank kissing Joey's bum, and Margaret comes in, and Margaret spills the tea about Teresa being in love. And Michelle tries to act like that Teresa had not previously told her that she was seeing someone. Because if you remember back at the house when Michelle was showing Teresa the house, Teresa told Michelle about her new love interest. She even suggested to Michelle that it would be better if the broker that she's bringing to the party would be introduced to Dolores or someone. And so for Michelle to say, Michelle said something about, I wish she had told, I didn't know she was seeing someone. I wish she had told me. She did tell you. She did tell you. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe you didn't want to listen, but she told you. Also, notice that whenever Margaret spills the tea that Joe has already told the fellas about Teresa being in love, Teresa gets upset, goes in the kitchen. Joey, you told them I was in love. And notice how close to Evan she is standing. I find that a very passive and subtle aggression towards her desire for Evan. And that might be why she was very upset about Joey spilling the tea. That is just my commentary. If I were Jackie, she wouldn't get 2 feet in front of my husband. Because she was talking to Joey, so why didn't she go straight over to tell Joey? But she stood right there by Evan. Really? You told them I'm in love? She doesn't want Evan to know she's in love. That's my process of thought in this. And what else here? Oh, Jennifer and her husband come in, right? And I think Jennifer's husband is very debonair. I do. I think he's good looking. And Jennifer is beautiful. Jennifer is beautiful as well. And earlier I think I said Jennifer when I meant Jackie I hope I said Jackie when I was talking about the food when they were at the gathering for the family. I sometimes get them confused in terms of their name, but I meant to say Jackie when I was talking about she had so little on her plate. Jennifer comes in with her husband, and if you guys remember at the party that they had, the pool party they had, when Jennifer and her husband were leaving, when Jennifer and Bill were leaving, you could hear in the background at the end, Jennifer really regurgitated in his sports car. So that's why he made the comment that she could drink tonight because he didn't drive his car. So anyway, so the broker comes in. Michelle is introducing the broker. And Teresa just has this really piss-funk look over her face, and she's like, nah, she's not having it, which means she's in love. And I know what that's like. When you're in love with someone, you really don't want someone else. It's very hard to move on to anything else when you really are in a relationship or if you're seeing someone where you want it to work. So I understand her feelings about that. So I'm not going to get on her too much about that, but she was like, no bueno. I just wish she hadn't done it in front of him. Save that. Be nice to him when he walks in, speak, say hi, and then take Michelle aside and say, listen, no bueno, and then leave, just to show your lack of interest. Just say, look, I'm going to go, which she eventually did go. And so the women are in this circle at the table of food, and they're talking about Dolores now, and they're all talking about how David bought her a Porsche instead of a ring. And the gentlemen all say he bought the Porsche because he's postponing, and so did Michelle's husband. And I say, I don't even think he's postponing. I think when a man does something like that, he's not interested in marrying you. That's real. He has put forth an action to demonstrate that he's not interested in marrying you. So I would just take that Porsche and be gone. And then I would be gone for a while, and then if he comes back, maybe maybe he's interested, right? And that would be between the two of you if you give him another chance. But I would take the Porsche and just be like, thank you so much for the car. I would move on. Because I think that Dolores is the one pushing that relationship because she wants someone, and she may even be trying to prove something to Frank, because I believe she still has feelings for Frank. And Frank is seeing someone else. From what I understand, Frank has a chick. She's not on the show. And I think she's trying to possibly prove something to him. But anyway, she gets upset because they're talking about this. And then Joe Gorga starts telling her that she's broken. She's a broken woman. And she doesn't like that. And I just thought that was not a good conversation to have for him to say to her at a party. I think that they all should have really just not talked about that at a party. At the same time, I think that Dolores should have handled it differently. I would have just said, listen, you guys need to find a different conversation. This is not the place. If you want to have this conversation with me, I'm more than open to having it with some of you. But we're at a party, so let's have a party. And I would have left. I would either left the room, and if they were still talking, I would have just left and not even told them I was gone. But that's what I think. Teresa leaves. Before all this happens, actually, I think it's before all this happens, Teresa leaves. And guess what? You see what she did? She goes over, she kisses Evan. And then she kisses Jackie because in her head, she's thinking, well, let me kiss her so she doesn't know that I have something for her husband. Then she goes over and kisses Margaret's husband, doesn't even kiss her brother bye, but kisses Margaret's husband bye, and really doesn't even kiss Margaret. So her whole objective was she wanted to kiss Evan. Jackie, keep that woman away from your man. If she had half a chance, she'd screw him. Absolutely. So that's what I think about this. Of course, we'll see what it brings next Wednesday. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m., all Eastern time. And that's all I have for now. Please subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And also comment on this video and tell me your thoughts about Teresa and Evan. And also about Margaret and what you think about my thoughts about Margaret. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday for the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion number 2. And remember to go back and look at some of my other videos as well. Some of my current event type of videos. Good night.